In the firelight, a girl kneels on the dirt floor, wrapped only in a rough cloth, eyes closed. Her body trembles. A shaman places his hand on her head, chanting low. People watch. No one speaks. This is not folklore. This was filmed in 2025, during a cleansing ritual. In a western region of an African country, some believe ancestral curses can only be broken through a sacred act, an act that involves sexual union with chosen women. When we entered the shrine, no one asked who we were. As long as you pay, you can watch. Some outsiders even join, calling it a spiritual experience. A 16-year-old girl told us, "My mother brought me here. She said it was an honor that the gods chose me." Hard to believe. These images aren't from a past civilization. They're from now, ready to see what faith can become when no one dares to question it. I was 14. My mother bathed me carefully and said, "Today, the gods will come to you." Her voice was barely a whisper, eyes on the ground, motionless. We met her in an abandoned school. She barely existed in the space. She called it a blessing ritual. The shaman, wearing feathers, told her to lie down. He said, "The spirit must enter you." She didn't cry. Her mother stood at the door, back turned. She thought, maybe this is what growing up means. Locals call this a divine marriage. A girl gives her body for the village's purification. No one reports it. Here, it's not called a crime. Some villages invite foreign worshippers to join, in exchange for spiritual power. She later developed an infection. They said it was the cost of receiving the divine. We asked, "Do you hate your mother now?" She paused, then said, "No, I don't think she had a choice." Here, love, faith, and the body are locked in the same prison. In these regions, sex isn't private, it's ritual. It's an act of belief. In local spiritual systems, the body is a vessel, a path through which spirits move. If someone is possessed by evil, the healer declares, only union can cast it out. Union means sex. It's described as a sacred exchange, evil out, divine power in. Young women, especially those who just started menstruation, are seen as most receptive. They become the preferred mediums of the gods. In this logic, sex is not a choice. It is destiny. Consent, emotion, even age, all erased. Sex becomes a ritualized tool for spiritual purification. This isn't folklore. It's a systematic, closed structure of power, protected by belief, silence, and time. If you thought faith was about prayer and kindness, here, you'll see what it becomes when no one asks, why? In 2025, a joint report by Human Rights Watch and the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, OCHR, revealed disturbing data. In 5 African countries, Niger, DRC, Benin, Uganda, and Tanzania, sex-based ritual practices remain active, protected under the name of cultural tradition. These rituals, often called purification, transition, or spiritual blessing, primarily target girls aged 12 to 17, and sometimes even younger. Investigations found that in some villages, such practices are incorporated into faith education and openly performed during festivals. Local authorities often look away. In some cases, religious leaders are active participants. GOs have captured extensive footage. Sexual exorcism is presented as a form of spiritual rebirth. The female body is treated as a vessel for divine contact. Is this faith, violence, or institutionalized control? In 2025, it is still happening. What truly institutionalizes these rituals is not belief, it's money. In many villages, poor families are encouraged to send their daughters to the shrine. The logic is simple. Her body can buy divine protection. In certain priesthoods, participation in cleansing rituals isn't free. There's a price list. First-time purification costs more than annual renewals. Once paid, the believer loses choice. They offer money, but what is taken is the body. This isn't just faith. It's a business, dressed in sacred robes. The shaman controls the rules. The chief recommends the girls And the girl becomes a token in a divine transaction. Power, sex, money. The most stable triangle in this closed system. Poverty is not a sin, but here, it is the original curse. Her name is Eveline. She's 27 now, from a small village in northern Uganda. At 14, she was taken to the shrine for the first time. The village was celebrating. She was the only one crying. The ritual lasted 3 nights. She remembers the burnt grass on the floor, the faces of gods drawn on stone, and the messengers who entered the room, one after another. She didn't resist. I thought it was the will of God, she said. Over the years, she grew quiet. She began to believe she was impure, that she needed cleansing. At 18, a volunteer at a rural clinic met her. For the first time, someone told her, not all pain comes from God. That night, she ran, barefoot, through the bush, hiding in the back of a truck. Today she lives in Entebbe, studying to become a nurse. I still believe in God, she says, but not in those who claim to speak for him. These acts don't happen in the shadows. They are public, unhidden, and unpunished. In some countries, witchcraft rituals are considered part of cultural heritage, protected by law, funded by the state, and respected by international agencies. And so, we see the absurd: a girl forced to offer herself inside a shrine, while a sign outside reads, Cultural Display Area. Officials say they respect religious diversity. Some argue, you can't judge local traditions by Western human rights. But faith can take many forms. Dignity should never be optional. When religious freedom becomes a veil for harm, who will speak for those who suffer? Human rights must cross cultural lines, or else freedom belongs only to the powerful. Anthropologists say, religion didn't begin with power, it began with comfort, a human response to chaos, death, and the unknown. But when the sacred starts demanding obedience, when faith becomes endurance, of pain, of silence, of submission, is it still faith? In some tribal languages, the word for God is the same as punishment. It's not coincidence. It's the blurry space between fear and devotion. We must be careful not to mistake violence for purification, obedience for redemption, silence for belief. True faith doesn't teach you to endure, it teaches you don't have to. If a God needs fear to be respected, perhaps that God is just another name for violence. When violence wears the cloak of God, when silence is called faith, do you still believe the name of God grants immunity? We want to hear you. Where do you draw the line between faith and violence? How far should religious freedom go? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This is not just a story, it's a question of our time. If you found this video meaningful, please like and subscribe, so more voices can be heard. Now, as the music plays, let the reflection continue.